Hey, and welcome to the first episode of Side Quest Sessions. Today, I've got my good buddy Clinical with us. We're going to go through some uh, gaming history between the two of us. We're going to talk about the origin stories of our streaming careers. We're going to talk about some blasts from the past into remakes, remasters, and some games that we both feel deserve a comeback. And then we got some upcoming releases as well as some games that we're currently playing, something that we like to do lately. And so we'll talk about those. And then we got some crossover content that we're going to dive into, which dabbles in games to film, whether it was good, whether it was bad. Uh, Basically, yeah, that's what we're going to do with it. But yeah, let's get started. My name is Paulie. I am your host. Today we're going to talk about the streaming. So we're going to jump into that. Clinical, why don't you give us a little backstory about your streaming career and how you got into gaming?
Alrighty. Hey everybody, I'm clinical depression. And the background being straightforward, I started streaming about 3 years ago and pretty much just the love of video games. I've always enjoyed playing them, and I figured, hey, if I'm enjoying it as much as I am, why not bring it to others? So that's exactly what I did.
Heck yeah, dude. That's what I like to hear. I'm right there with you. I started about late 2020. My first PC, to be exact, I bought in January of 2020. Started streaming in late 2020, and borderline the exact same reasons. I felt that I could relate to a lot of people and wanted to bring smiles and joy wherever I could on it. And so that's where we're at. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree.
right? I mean, we get the fuddy duddies every once in a while, but you know what? That's okay. We'll move on past that. So we're gonna jump into it. Clinical. I gotta know, what is your favorite game? And it may be of all time, maybe of late. What's your favorite game that stands out to you?
Boy, man, that list is huge. But if we're gonna go with my number one, it's gonna be Final Fantasy IX, honestly.
Nice. Heck yes. I love a good Final Fantasy. What about that one? What about that one does it appeal to you? What's the draw for you?
The draw would be the story itself. It mainly revolves around how you're trying to save a princess who knows that they're in dire need of someone to save them, but all around the queen herself is actually not wanting that princess. Come to find out, she's a false princess due to uh let's see, like a marriage that was done by with somebody else later throughout the life, and she's hunting you down, and that is your job, is to protect her as much as possible and try to rid everybody of evil that is trying to take her back. It's all a territory kind of thing, or power, one would say.
Okay, I could see that. Now I do enjoy I quite enjoy Final Fantasy games. I do like those. Seven was my favorite Final Fantasy game, but now my favorite game of all time, though, and this one, it was actually given to me originally on the PlayStation One. It was Legend of Dragoon. And man, I just fell in love with the characters in this. With Dart and Rose and Lavitz and all the other characters in it. Um, it really grabbed me. Just because I'd never played a game like that beforehand, because that was my first game like that. With the turn-based tactical, fighting and whatnot. And so I just love the story overall with the Legend of Dragoon and them finding out their powers and abilities and going up against the big bad in it. It's one game that it'll always stand out to me, and I hope and pray that one day it gets a remake. I would love to see that if it did.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. I totally agree with that one. I mean, it would be blast from the past for sure.
you're not kidding. Speaking of blasts from the past, let's go ahead and jump into our cult classics. See, well, not really cult classics, I shouldn't say that, but classics. And if you think they hold up still to this day, we're going to go down the road. We're going to start off with Super Mario 3. And I'll even throw in there Mario World. I don't know if you know Mario 3 and Mario World. What's your thoughts on those?
Oh, I mean, you brought up good topic there. Easy, good topic that everybody can relate to when it comes to Super Mario. And it's always been about Super Mario 3 or
Oh,
World.
You're not
And
kidding.
I mean, to me as a child, I grew up playing those. So it was definitely it was spending time with my dad was playing Super Mario. It didn't matter which one it was. You know, it was always taking turns with the controller and trying to get as far as you could, or going into worlds where you can play 2 people.
Mhm.
You know, it was
Yeah.
always amazing to be able to do that, and even to the advanced ones being that we have now here on the Wii, the Switch, and everything like that, being able to play with all of your friends, it's just amazing to be able to do that with Super Mario, and I'm glad that the, Nintendo has actually came out with all those, great ideas and that great game.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Like I love it to this day. Like Mario 3, Mario World, those are games that for me and I don't know about everybody obviously, but for me they have really high replayability. I don't know, it's just something about them. I don't know if it's because it takes me back to simpler times with my childhood or just the simplicity of the games themselves and how creative and fun they are, you know? And so I really enjoy those games. But to jump on the friends portion of it, that's a good point. You know, with the advancements that they're doing, you know, I love a good co-op. You know, Mario and stuff like that. Speaking of co-op, jump to N64. What's your thoughts on GoldenEye? For me, that was the epitome of a family killer, so to speak. You know, we had many a fights growing up between me and my cousins over that game. It was something else. Now the game itself amazing. Does it hold up today? I don't know. I haven't played it in a minute. I bet it does, to be honest.
You know, it's a that's a valid point. Would it hold up today? Honestly, they tried over the years to create more 007s, and I feel like it went and then it just kind of died out, and I feel like that's a shame because GoldenEye was one of the most fantastic multiplayer experiences. And yes, you're absolutely right, it was a ruiner of friendships and bonds for sure,
Yep.
because
Yep.
there was always somebody on the other end. Oh, you're cheating. Oh, you're
Yep.
screen peeking. And you know, it was what gave us the thrill and made us laugh the most, even knowing we didn't actually jeopardize nothing. But it was just always something that started the fight, and it was GoldenEye for sure. I remember
Yep.
playing that as a kid growing up when I first got my N64 and got 4 controllers finally, and then
Yep.
there it was, you know, me jamming out with my buddies.
That was some good times back in the day. Now, one thing that, you know, because on there, you know, you had the multiplayer, but we had also discovered. Do you remember Gauntlet Dark Legacy
I
growing
do
up?
actually. Actually,
Oh,
that's one of the things that you know, brought me to loving RPGs more.
yep.
Even knowing they're more of a roguelike RPG, but it was still on point because I've already experienced within the Final Fantasy dealing with RPGs, and that's what got me into it. And then when the 64 hit and it came out with a gauntlet, and I'm like, oh, look at this. You could play this character and do these
Mm-hmm.
abilities, and this one's got this power-ups, and you know, and it was always a given on like if I'm gonna play.
Right. I mean, my thing with it, you know, and it also had that multiplayer. You know, you could have your
Yep.
friends joining in with you, you know, and you all combated whatever the baddie was that you was working on. You know, my personal favorite though, character wise, I was always the jester. You know, I would just love to sit back and just lob bombs at whoever was running at me. And but that was one thing that I'll never forget. You know, and rumor has it. Now this is obviously a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. But rumor has it that one's been on the remaster remake list for a while now. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. I had heard that there was a group that had a Discord dedicated to the remastering of that game. I hope it's true. It would be cool if it was, like, a modern remaster. I think it would be neat if they actually did something like that.
Oh, definitely. That would be in my wish list and purchase the moment. Like, take my card scenario. Like, that would happen if Gauntlet was remastered to today's technology. Yes,
Right. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Sign me up for early access somehow, that I want to be part of that. And some games I feel deserve, that remake or remaster, however you want to word it. I think that some games do deserve it. But on the same subject of remakes and remasters, there's some games that are out that whether or not they're remakes or remasters, sometimes it appears that it can be kind of a cash grab. Um, there's some good, there's some bad. For me, my most recent where I was let down the most was with the newest Star Wars Battlefront. The one they just did the re-release of the original two. It came out I think
Yeah,
last March, and I was so hyped and looking forward to that game. And from the release of it, it just had a terrible release. It wasn't optimized or PC ported good, and servers was bad overall. And so it kind of felt me or made me feel a little bit like some of these games that they're remaking or remastering, there seems to be just cash grabs because they know people will grab for them. Um,
absolutely.
One I did have fun with. I will say there's good and bad in all. One that I did have fun with was the Master Chief Collection. Now I am a big Halo fan. I've enjoyed them from the beginning. I know they're not for everybody, but I feel that the Master Chief Collection was I wouldn't say spot on good, obviously, but I would say it was definitely a good collection to have to kind of boost the modern side of it to get you back into those games with your friends where you couldn't have been before with the upgrades.
I mean, ultimately, since you brought up the Halo, I mean, a lot of us gamers can all relate that the one song can be mentioned or announced and everybody will respond, and everybody knows what that is, and that's the Halo theme song.
That's true.
And me growing up, I mean, that's all we ever did. Me and my buddies, that's all we ever played, and it was always Halo. And that's what we enjoyed doing. It was playing Halo, trying to see how long we can survive our friends, or battle amongst each other for certain capture the flag moments or King of the Hill, and it was always about that, that really brought us all together.
Yeah, I mean you're exactly right. Like the classic Halo 2 to me was at the time, now this is at the time, it was a different level from other games that we had played, because you could do the team-based objectives, but you also had the clan battles. You had your small clan battles and your large clan battles. And that was something that at the time, as a clan, we strive to be the best at those objective games. And not always did we win, but we wasn't always losing either. But I agree with you on it. I think that Halo holds a special part for me just because of the friendships that I've got from that. I still have friends on my friends list from my original Halo 2 days on Xbox, the original Xbox. And so that game will always hold a special place with me. Now, has all the Halos been as good? No, but they haven't been bad. It's just been different. I've enjoyed them as they've came. I know the story has changed, the play style has changed, but you're not going to be able to appease everybody on that.
I agree.
But moving on, so we got another little segment here. Now, this one I think it's going to be neat because this one is talking about lost gems and games that we feel deserve a comeback. Now, we did kind of touch on this a little bit with my Legend of Dragoon. And so I think and I've went over that, and obviously we're not going to rehash that, but that's one game I personally would sign up for a remake. I would have the pre-order Uber Collector's Edition bundle if they ever had one. If that ever was to
Absolutely.
happen. Um, but one game that and it's been on the rumor mill forever. Now, I did read recently that they confirmed that it is still in development. My concern is that I haven't seen anything on it, and that's the Knights of the Old Republic remake or remaster, however you want to dub
Oh,
that.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
That's
because
definitely a good one.
it's PlayStation 5 exclusive from what I was reading. Now, whether or not that's changed or not, I don't know, but that's what I was reading. And so that one has been on the rumor mill forever as far as a remake and remaster. And they did confirm that it is still in development. Um, Is that one that you're familiar with, Clinical? The
Oh,
nice.
I am actually. I remember playing that like a very long time ago. When back when graphics were the way that they were growing up.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and how challenging it was. Where you had to figure out exactly what it is you wanted to be as you were leveling up, going through and giving yourself new abilities and all this other stuff, and you had to precisely pick the right
Hmm.
way that you were going to
Yeah.
your play style. You had to know exactly how you wanted to play because you can't go back and change the things that you already did.
Yeah. There's no take
And
backs on it. Yeah.
no, there wasn't. And that's what the challenging part was, it because then when you kept dying over and over and over again, then you'd be like, well, crap, I got to start all over again. And then you would, just so you could change your play style a little bit, or, tally up your points a little differently, or, do something different in the game that is going to lead you to that end road that caused you to start the game all over again. And if they did it remastered or, new design on it, I feel like it would be the new generation of the Old Republic. I think it would be absolutely amazing. One, in today's graphics quality, if they decided they
Oh
want to go with
yes.
that, oh
Yes.
man, the
That would be
city would be
spectacular.
immaculate. The fighting
Yeah.
style would be almost like, I wouldn't want to say on Boulder's Gate level of graphic quality and fighting style, but man, would it be really close though.
Right. That's yeah. That's something to think about. Like it would be. And if it does come true, we're going to know. But it would be spectacular in the sense because that game, that one and the second one, was really really well done. How they was done, the story was good. Because it didn't follow your typical Skywalker saga. It
No.
gave, Revan and Malik and so forth in 1 and 2, and so I'm with you. I hope that the rumors are true. I hope this game comes out. It's one again. Sign me up. I'm going to buy the $500 collector's
Take my
edition.
card. Take my
Yeah,
card.
just take my wallet.
Yeah,
And
and I
so
totally agree because on another side note, I have two particular ones that I feel like would be a absolute beautiful remaster, and one of them is my fan favorite, being Final Fantasy IX. That is
yes,
actually in the workings, so I've heard. Um, from another fellow content and streamer. He has been keeping up with all of the Final Fantasies, and he's been letting me know that it is possible that they may be doing a remake or a remaster of Final Fantasy IX, and I am so looking forward to that. I will take my card and let's go. I'm playing it that day.
right,
And then
right.
my second option is the original Final Fantasy Tactics,
Oh,
not
okay,
not the advance or anything like that, the original storyline and all being redone on the newer technology. I feel like that would be superb. I mean, I would love to see how all you're using anima or Shiva or Ifrit or any type of magical abilities, let alone just your firefight and basic combat, being seen that it's in a newer, updated, system. I feel like that would be amazing. Either that or another fan favorite being Ogre Battle 64.
oh,
That was
oh.
another favorite of mine. If they remastered that one, yes, I'm slapping my card on the desk and demanding my copy right now. Because I have not, I have to go like as far as going to my own original 64 in order to play that. And I would love to be able to play it on something newer and seeing how that would play out.
Those are some really good choices. I hadn't even thought of those. Those are really good ideas. And with the trend of them remaking the Final Fantasies, because they've had a couple that they've remade, I could absolutely see a Final Fantasy 9 being redone.
I mean, but
And the tactics.
the problem is I don't want it to be redone to where how they did with Final Fantasy VII. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying Final Fantasy VII remake was bad at all. Scratch that. No, it was amazing. It was. It really was. The graphics, the story was different from the original. It definitely was, but it still told the same story just in a different outlook. But that's fine. but the way that you guys remastered the graphics and how you did all the cinematic scenes, it felt like I was physically watching a movie. It
Movie.
was
Yep.
so beautiful. And now
Yep.
if you did the same for 9, you don't have to go changing the story per se, but if you were to up the graphic quality in a very similar pattern to 7, I'm not going to be mad. I'll once again, I'll just slap my card on the desk and say, "Here you go." Um, but the same with all the other ones. With today's technology and advancements with the Unreal Engine and everything like that, you guys can make any game that way. I mean, let's go
Yeah.
back to everybody
Yeah.
trying to use Unreal 4 and trying to master Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They're still working on trying to make that within the Unreal Engine. And hello, guys, if you guys are doing it, keep up the good work. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's right. You would be both on that one. All right, I get the big question. Zelda. Which one's your favorite?
Hands down, Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Since you brought up Ocarina of Time, I figured I better ask. That's my favorite one as well.
Never liked Majora's Mask. I'm sorry. I played it all the way through, beat it, whole 9 yards, but I never actually enjoyed the whole, let me go back in time. Let me go back in time. Let me go back in time. You never got
Yeah.
really anywhere, and you felt like you were rushed. That's the only problem about Majora's Mask. You felt like you were rushed to do things. Yes, could you slow down time? Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But you always felt like you were rushed to do things. Now, going beyond that, my next choice would be Twilight Princess. I did enjoy playing
On the
Twilight
Wii.
Princess. Yes.
Nice.
Then moving in from that one was Skyward Sword. Enjoyed that. It was very challenging to do that one actually. I found that one quite challenging to play that one on the Wii because of the whole nunchuck trying to use the
Yeah.
bow
Yeah, I'm
and
with you on
arrow,
that.
yeah, or the hook
Yeah.
shot.
I
That
had
was
trouble with that
challenging.
one.
But moving in, I have not played Breath of the Wild. So that's very sad.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of great things. I've played a little bit of Breath of the Wild, so I can say for Nintendo's perspective, and I know a lot of people have misjudgments on a lot of games, being that they are Nintendo. You guys got to stop looking at the graphic quality. It's not all about the graphic quality in Nintendo. Nintendo's not been known for graphic quality, they've been known for story.
That's true.
Every
That's
game
true.
that Nintendo's ever made, it's always about the story. Now, do they have the opportunity to make the graphics just a little bit better? Yes, they could, but the problem is they're not meant for all that. They're meant for the story and the co-opability and just being able to have fun because that's what Nintendo's always been about. Is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, especially back to the what you're saying about the graphically part of it, because I mean, the Switch isn't the same as like a PC or an Xbox or PS5.
No.
It's exactly what you described as far as the story and what they're putting out. They have great stories on it. And I'll be honest, I have Breath of the Wild, but I have not finished it either. I've just had so much come up that's got my attention on it that away from it, I should say, that I haven't finished it. And I probably will one day. I probably will.
Yeah, I'm on
Um,
that same boat. One day I'll
right.
finish it.
Right. So I mean that way I can move to the next one and so forth. But I have played all of them up to a certain point. Um when it comes to the Zeldas. And so but yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of those games like the Ogre 64, you was talking about the Ogre Battle 64. I
Hmm.
could see that as a remake. That would be fun.
Oh
That would be
man, you
fun.
would take my money so fast. I mean, I tell you, I have the Wii U, and so walking around with that little tablet basically, and
Right?
that's what I play Ogre Battle 64. I mean, I went out and I purchased it on the network, and I have it on my system, and that's the only way I can play it now because it's so hard to get a physical copy for my 64 because it's so expensive. And mind you, that's not the issue. It's just I just choose not to spend my money like that. But it is
Yeah.
still a favorite game. The way that the story's done, the way that you can tame certain animals, and how you can evolve them into stronger beings, or your own characters can become stronger based on how you're playing. That whole 9 yards is just the greatest thing about that, and that's what really got me deeper into RPGs, very similar to that.
Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. And so I'm with you on that. Okay, side question. Well, not really a side question, but Vigilante 8 or Twisted Metal? Did you have a preference between the two? Very similar games. Did you like one over the other?
Honestly, I played a lot of Twisted Metal.
Okay. All right.
I
See,
really never got into Vigilante 8.
I'm on the other end of that. I played more Vigilante 8 over Twisted Metal. Did I like both of them? Yes. I thought at the time they was really good games. I thought both of them had, the appeal to each one differ from the other. I know they're very similar in what they do, almost identical, so to speak, but I enjoyed both of them. I would like to see a remake of both of those, and it can be done, because you've had your games like Wreckfest that's come out, which is straight up Demolition Derby. You know, do something like that. That's you can even use the same engine as what's Wreckfest is on, and do like a Vigilante 8 or Twisted Metal in the same style. I think you would have a great game overall.
I totally agree, especially with from my own experience of Twisted Metal. Having a new rendition of Twisted Metal, don't matter which version or which game, because they have made a couple. Um, but having our nowadays, designing crew going out there and redoing all of the, looking at the new model vehicles, and seeing them being transformed into death machines, uh,
Yeah,
and Sweet Tooth with his ice cream truck, being in a new rendition. I feel like that would be like top tier, like the new thing. I feel like they would definitely be prospering from that if they decided to do something like that.
I could agree with that. I agree with that. I think that it would bring a difference in the gaming world because you have your racing games, you have your Wreckfest, you have iRacing and everything. But just to have something that's just made for pure fun and entertainment and just destruction of your friends and vehicles and whatnot on the newer platforms, newer engines, I think would be a ton of fun. And I would love to see something like that. I don't know if they'll hear this or not, but it would be cool if they did. I would sign up for it. I'd just take my wallet. I would do it.
Yeah, where's the gift when you need it? Throwing down the card. Let's go.
Right?
Um,
Right?
yep,
All right. So
100%.
So moving on, we're gonna move on from Lost Gems, remakes, nostalgia. We're gonna do some upcoming releases, and how do you think they will perform, or how do you think they'll do, or what in general is your thoughts of the series overall? So first one we grabbed, and I did these randomly. I picked up Borderlands 4. Well, I didn't pick it up, but Borderlands 4 comes out on September 23rd. Have you played much of the Borderlands series, and what do you think of 4? Like the hype around it, or are you not hyped for it? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, let's start off with I've actually only fully played one.
Okay,
Um, I've not. I mean, I've dabbled in some of the other ones, but I have honestly never got to sit down and actually play any of two or really of three or any of that stuff. I've not really, or any of the DLCs, none of that stuff. I have never really gotten down into it. Most of the time, it's because I've never had anybody to actually play the game with in general.
I got
So,
you.
and it is kind of hard to. I mean, it's not saying that you can't play Borderlands by yourself, because of course you can. But it's more fun and more experiencing when you can play it with your best bud,
You're not
or
wrong. You're not wrong.
somebody of that nature, and it's always more entertaining to do it that way, but it is possible to play it by yourself. But yeah, Borderlands 1 hands down is the only one I've actually played.
I got you. I mean, you're right. I mean, a lot of games, like you said, it can be played solo, and there's nothing wrong with that. But playing something like Borderlands that is designed to be played with your friends does enhance that experience. Because I mean, I've played all three, and I'll play four when it comes out. And my thing is like I've enjoyed each Borderlands. They're silly, they're goofy, they're slapstick, and that's what they're supposed to be. The stories are okay. They're not top tier, but I don't know that they're specifically designed to be that way. I think they're just made to more or less to have fun with your friends in general. I mean, I'm looking forward to the new one. I think it'll be a ton of fun. Um, and I know there's a lot of hype on both sides of that. People that's liking it, people that's disliking it. I'm on the side that I like it. I think it'll be fun. Definitely be playing with friends on it, and so that's my thoughts on that one.
I mean, my only favorite thing about Borderlands 100% is Claptrap. I'm just gonna say
Right?
that right now.
You're not
Claptrap,
wrong.
the voice actor that has done Claptrap throughout the whole games, you've done a phenomenal job. Um, so, thank you for that. 100%, because he was the greatest thing in Borderlands 1 when I came across him, and throughout the whole gaming experience, just him, he gave you that R2D2 feel sometimes, and then other times you just felt like, oh, this is his own being.
Yeah, no, you're right. What was that? David Eddings, I think
I
was the
think so.
original. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Claptrap. Yeah, Claptrap was from the beginning, like you said. He only gets better as the series goes. Um, it's funny. I like it, and like you said, R2D2 style, but Claptrap with his own personality. I'm with you on that. I got you. Next one I've got, or actually, do you have any clinical that you're hyped for that you'd like to talk about?
I mean, I've already voiced it out. It's when they decide to actually put a oh, actually, well, other than Final Fantasy 9, when they actually decide to do that, but that's just the remake. But what they are coming out is Revenge of Savage Planet. That would be on May 8th, 2025. Um, if you guys haven't, it's a sequel to Journey to Savage Planet, which was back in, oh man, I can't remember, but a couple years ago it came out, and I played the living crap out of that game because it was so fun.
Nice.
And it's a puzzle and very strategic type game, and you're trying to figure out the crisis of the planet, and you eventually have to do a lot of going back and forth kind of thing, but you eventually learn new abilities and being able to cross the planet and reach different points that you were never able to get access to before. And sounds very similar to another particular game, being a Zelda. Can't get to certain points unless you acquire certain set items, right?
Oh yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly the
Yeah.
same way. So with that being said, they are looking to making Revenge of Savage Planet, but now this time it's a co-op multiplayer.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's going to
Okay.
be amazing. I'm looking forward to it 100%. And I can't wait. It's got that cartoony graphic kind of style to it, which draws me even more into it. And it kind of looks like certain aspects of High on Life could be referenced in that, just without the
Okay.
talking weapons.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. That's another funny game on
Oh,
that one,
it is
Hive
a
Life.
fantastically
Yeah.
hilarious game. Absolutely. Don't trust the knife. It always wants to kill. Um, but yes, that is actually one game for sure I'm looking forward to. I just was talking to the wife a little while ago about that actually. Um, and how I'm really looking forward to that being released in May. We're bummed out because they originally said it was supposed to release like I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So they pushed it back on it.
Yeah, they
I
pushed
got
it
you.
back, and I'm glad that they do, because just in case if there was something that wasn't finished and they were looking to finish it before they fully release it, and I'm thankful that they decided to do something like that. And by all means, take the extra month, whatever you got to work out and fix or tweak or whatever it is. By all means, take that time because I want this experience to be the greatest.
Right, you're not wrong on that. I mean, looking at it, it does look like it's something that would appeal to me. And so I looked at Journey to the Savage Planet. Now, I've never played this, I'll be honest, but looking at it, I mean, I knew what it was, but looking at it, it's definitely something I think I could get into. It is on sale,
Oh,
folks, right now. I'm
it's
not
fun.
They're not paying me for this, obviously, but it is on sale for $7.49 on Steam right now until March 27th. So,
You know what? Since you just said that, I'm gonna go ahead because I originally played it on PlayStation.
oh wow,
So that's where I originally played it, and with that being said, it was one heck of a journey, and trust me, if you got a controller, I mean, yes, it does make the experience a heck of a lot easier. Um, but if you're doing mouse and keyboard, it's still not impossible. So for all those that are using mouse and keyboard, you're pros at it. You got this. Um,
right?
so by all means, you should definitely play it if you haven't. Get it while you can. Like Paulie said, it's $7.49, guys, over on Steam. Make sure you guys go and get it.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, if you get the deluxe version, which includes, I would assume, DLC, it's $10. And I mean, the game looks fun. I will probably be checking this one out. So, yeah, thanks, Clinical, for that recommendation. I'll be getting that one and checking it out.
Too late, already did.
How did I know? Like, how did I know?
Wait,
All
when
right.
there's something you enjoy, you don't hesitate, you just go for it, right?
Well, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong at all. Next one that I have, I will say on my list, Ghost of Yotai. Now, this one I say recently, but it's been a couple of months now. But I've been or I played through the first one. And let me tell you, I don't know what it was like on PlayStation 5 because I just recently got a PlayStation 5. And so the PC version, the director's cut, it was amazing. The graphics, the story, everything about this game sucked me in. You know, the fighting style, everything. Poor Sora. I miss that horse. I'm just saying, fantastic game. Eh, I can't say nothing about it. Like that one for me is I can't wait, and I will have the Uber edition if they have one. I'm getting it. Take my wallet,
I mean, did you say Sora?
Sora. Yeah, that was my
No,
horse's
no.
name. Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of Sora, an upcoming release that they're working on is Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, love Sora.
Just throw that out there. I want everybody to know that Kingdom Hearts 4, they are looking into making that a release, and that is a cash grab for me. Let's go. So for one
one
that
of
has played
those.
all three of them, it is a fantastic game, and I love the story. I love the music, the soundtrack, all the intros and everything is actually one of the greatest, and I've always enjoyed them. Me and the wife loved sitting together and playing some Kingdom Hearts.
You're not wrong. The Kingdom Hearts, like I got the first one, and people actually laughed a little bit at me, for playing it because of the aspect of it. But I'll tell you, that game is fantastic. Now I haven't played all of them. I've played the first two, but I will say I loved every single moment of those games. I thought they was fantastic to play. Story alike.
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, with the Disney aspect, there's, some people that are going to have the opposite of your opinion, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Everybody's
absolutely.
entitled to that. But with that being said, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 are fantastic games. I really enjoyed all the battle styles and the advancements when you left Kingdom Hearts 1, how you smash so many hours into trying to master everything you can and then beating the game and being like, oh, I could play Kingdom Hearts 2, and then learning that the battle style is tweaked to a different perspective. And now you got to relearn how to play
Yep.
again. And
Yep.
then 3 does the exact same thing again, where you're relearning how to play the game again. And I love that every single time they came out with another one. And it's the same when you go into playing Dream Drop Distance, 356 in 2 days, and Chain of Memories and all that stuff. Those games are subcategories, but as well as they tell you a different perspective of the original Kingdom Hearts. They give you like the sub chapters, they give you more information about Organization 13, a little more backstory on Roxas, or more information based on Sora and how everything came to be and why everything is happening the way it is, or the Kingdom Blade War. I mean, they all tell more information leading up to the ending of 3.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna have to get into though, and what I may end up doing is just replaying through all of them because it's been a while since I've played 1 and 2, and so I'll probably pick up 1 and 2 and then 3 as well, just so I'm preparing for 4 because it is something that I would like to finish the story, so to speak, on to get caught up and refamiliarize myself with it.
Oh, 100%. And I've been, having that conversation, the exact conversation that you just spoke
Yep.
of getting back into them and just rolling through them. And I've been telling the wife, since I have them here on my PC, and, it would be great to replay them and actually put it out there for everybody to see as well. Because once again, man, that soundtrack, once it hits, man, it just hits you in the feels and you
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
every emotion in every one of those songs that has been done in the intros of every single one of them. And I
Yeah. You're
actually
not wrong.
listen to them even on my own when I'm just at work or whatnot. I just jam out to them because they're so good. You just vibe with them, and I really enjoy it a lot.
Speaking of like soundtracks and whatnot, since you brought that up, I love it when I get now I've had games that's had bad soundtracks, but absolutely love when a game has a soundtrack that you just find yourself just like, yes, this matches me, it matches the game. I can do this. Like vibe. I can vibe out like uh Valhalla, Odyssey, soundtracks for those two games, the Assassin's Creed games, spectacular. That I love it when you get a game that has an awesome soundtrack like that.
I mean, another good one on top of that, and I've only seen videos, and man, it's a killer soundtrack that the DJ was working magic, that's for sure, when creating the soundtrack for this game. Another Crab's Treasure.
Okay.
That one right there has the most upbeat scaling soundtrack that just puts you in like you're going to a rave party or an EDM dance show, anything. Like you're just there at a concert and you forget that you're playing a game pretty much. It
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing. I have not played it. I am waiting to play it myself, but I've seen some videos on it and that soundtrack hits hard and I love it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, you got your classics though with the soundtracks, like Doom, Brutal Legend was another one that had a good one. There's a lot of good games out there that have really good soundtracks to them. There's some underrated games that have really good soundtracks to them too.
Yep.
And so that's a good point. I like that. That's a good point. To bring that up on it.
I
Huh,
mean, any game that's got a great soundtrack that just ups you, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, we're doing something here. Oh, I forgot, because I'm
right?
jamming out to the soundtrack in the background. Like,
Yeah. Like I
you
got
know,
sidetracked. My bad.
yep, exactly. Any game
Yeah.
that's like that, hands down to the creator that did that, you're amazing. Keep up the good work.
Hey, you're not wrong. Exactly what he said. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. You'll have me for life. On to the next topic, and this is a big one. This is what we're currently in. It kind of folds into each other. Horror games, co op horror games. Now, if you know me, I don't do very well with horror games. I don't know what it is about them. I jump easy, I scare easy. And
That you do.
as big as I am, I'm 6'5", and as tall and as big as I am, it's something about these games that gets me, and they get me good. Like I've got some clips that I'm like, I can't show that. I'm screaming and hiding under my desk.
I mean, definitely. Like you said, there's. I'm not a horror fan. I mean, I've got nothing against it. I love watching other people play horror games. Absolutely. It is the best thrill for me. Comedy wise, it's great too. But I've never stepped foot into the horror aspects of games up until recently. So thanks, Polly, for that. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
as well as, have we made some great memories? Yes, yes, totally, we
Yes.
have. But do I get scared easily? No, I don't actually. I am one for haunted houses and thrills, and I seek it out, and I don't get scared all that easily.
Uh,
Um, it's quite the
and
opposite for my wife. She gets scared easily.
see what the strange thing. Here's the strange thing. See, when I was growing up, I grew up in a haunted house. The house itself was haunted.
Was it because you're a giant?
It probably was. Yeah, it probably
Ah,
was.
that
But
makes
no,
sense.
like it was, and like it never bothered me at all. Like I never had an issue. Still to this day, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But it's something about the games themselves. Maybe it's the jump scare factor that maybe I'm just not ready for it. I don't know. Do I enjoy playing them? Within reason. Like some games, like I'm just like I don't know if I can do that. But now I do very much enjoy like what we're doing now with the co-op horror games because of the comedy aspect that you get with those.
Absolutely.
Because right now we're playing Repo. Oh, we're playing a couple of games and we'll talk through them. But right now, the big one, Repo. This game's awesome. If y'all
Oh,
haven't
hands down.
Right, if y'all haven't seen Repo or played Repo, it is one you need to check out. It's not very expensive as far as a game. It's $10, but listen, that $10 will make memories. You'll have memories with your friends that's forever long because of how fun the game actually is. Um, it's similar to Lethal Company, if you've played Lethal Company. Now, I've played both. I do prefer Repo on it, between the two. Not saying Lethal Company's bad, but I like Repo. I'm having a great time playing with Clinical and my Boo Thunder and Sophie.
I mean, absolutely. Going back to saying about making memories and clips and all that, it can also be a way to ruin friendships in a way too, but with a comedy twist to it though. But the thing about it, Repo, is it's absolutely amazing game. The way the devs had made the graphic quality on every single labyrinth you're working through to try to retrieve as much treasure as possible, each one is different and it's randomly generated. So I am thankful for them for doing something like that because you can't memorize every single map. It's always done differently. But with that being said, like you said, very similar to Lethal Company, and I will also vouch. Lethal Company does have its scare moments. It does have its own monsters and its own, horror behind it. Um, but I feel like Repo outdid them a little, because the scare tactics and the enemies that you go up against in Repo are actually a little more terrifying than the ones you find in Lethal Company.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that.
But are they very similar? Yes,
Yep.
100% they are. Just with two different types of, I want to say, objectives. Reason being is yes, they both pertain about collecting things and trying to meet a quota. But Lethal Company does theirs in a different way that you have to actually transport
And
through
deposit.
different
Yep.
things to deposit that. As for Repo, you're stuck in that map and literally you have to find everything you can to meet that said quota. So for Repo's perspective, I enjoyed that one.
Yep. Yep. And the best part about the repo one, well, I wouldn't say the best part, but every item you pick up, you put in the cart. You hit a wall, you drop it, you lose value on that. And you can get to a point to where items may or may not appear if you've broken too many. So you may not make it through your next door.
Absolutely. Yep. Has that happened numerous times for us? Yes.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, it
but
has.
that's where the strategy and the team based part of repo comes in. If you got a good team with you, you guys can double up, triple up, quadruple up if you want on one said item, and to make sure that it no longer hits any walls or it doesn't get dragged on the floor or anything of that sort to get it back to the extraction point safe and sound.
But yes, so this is one, and I think Clinical may agree. I think this is a game that I'm glad to see the direction that it's going. I think what he said with the devs making the changes and everything that they are, adding stuff and tweaking it, it's going in a very good direction. I think the future of repo is looking good for us. Well, at least for me, I can't speak for Clinical, but for me, for the memories, the clips, everything that it makes, it's looking good. I give
The
it a thumbs
only
up.
thing that I will honestly say that I would like them to add in the next expansion or update that they do, is to allow customization of your said character in the main
Ah,
screen.
I got
So
you.
that way you can actually customize your character however you want without having to utilize any type of mods.
Yeah.
That way, it's a given for everybody without having to go the extra mile. Because not everybody's about mods and implementing this or doing this or all that other stuff, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. For myself, I don't really use mods unless it's necessary. But having that customization at the title screen and being able to customize your character however you want with a funny hat or googly eyes
I want to
or
look like a
a
minion.
mustache. Yeah, exactly. Or looking like a minion. Exactly. Um, I feel like that would be the greatest addition to Repo because they've already done that said thing in Lethal Company.
That's true.
So with that being said, I've hope Repo, if you're listening to this, please add that.
That would be a good addition to it. I would like to look like a minion, please, or like a
I
mini Hulk. Like give myself like big buff arms, but I can't lift like a table. That'd be hilarious.
I would like to look like Bender from Futurama.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Heck yeah.
That would be amazing.
All right. So the next game, now this one we don't have as much in it yet. I think it's fun. I like playing it. I like to play a little more eventually. But Dark Hours. It's a newer game. It just came out back in October, I think is what it was. It's on Steam, still in early access, same price point of $10, $9.99. This game it has that co-op four-player experience. And what it is you are thieves. You're doing a heist. You break into the museum. You're stealing whatever you can get your hands on, but you get trapped in that museum by an entity. Now, that entity can change. You've got a couple of different ones that the mummy, you've got a lady, you've got a jester that we've seen right off that I can remember right off that will track you down and they will end you, so to speak. And so this one definitely has the comedic aspect of it. Uh, I think it's fun. Would I like to see some changes? Yeah, a few, but they're not anything game impacting. I think overall the game is a lot of fun with your friends, and I think it's one that can definitely be had to make memories on with them.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that one. There could be some changes, but ultimately, I mean, the the horror aspect is perfectly placed.
Hmm.
I gotta give the devs credit on that one. You guys did perfectly on that one. Because man, there's some scary moments that happen and you don't even expect it. I mean, like the statues. Oh
Oh,
Lord, have
terrifying!
mercy,
I forgot
have
all about
mercy.
them.
That's like no different than going to the mannequins
Yeah,
being in Silent Hill. That perspective that's just what it draws me to is the mannequins in Silent Hill. Like everybody has a thing against mannequins, and that's fine. But that's what it draws me to is that and how if you turn your back and how they creeped up on you, and then if they did catch you, that was just creepy.
yeah, the
Um,
weeping angels.
yes. Yes, absolutely, hands down. You guys did a phenomenal job on the horror aspects. Same with the Mummy. The Mummy just nonchalantly walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, he's right there." Oh, wait,
Yep.
disappear. Where'd he go? Next thing you know, he's right behind
Yep.
you. Yes. No. I'm not the greatest at horror games. So, but do I get scared
Right.
easily in the horror games? Yes, but in real life, no. Uh, so I don't get it. I don't. Maybe it's like we backtrack a little bit. Like you said, how is it you're scared in the horror games, but not so much in real life? I think it's the headphones. I mean, because you're blocking out the outside world and you're wearing these headphones to seclude you into the game, and that's what gets you. I think that's what it is. That's what glues us into the game, and all the sound and everything's happening, and we're not aware of our surroundings in the real world versus what we're playing, and that's why we're getting scared so easily.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Getting sucked right in, you're losing focus behind you, and things happen. I could
I
see
mean, it
that.
could always be worse. You're playing a horror game, being Dark Hours or Phasmophobia or anything of that sort, and somebody comes walking in the room and you don't even know it, and they go to tap you on the shoulder and you scream.
Yep.
I've seen it
Oh yeah.
happen.
Oh, it's
It's
happened to
possible.
me. Yeah, it's definitely happened. It's it's definitely happened. So, on to the next one though. Now this one, I will say, this one is more comedic to me than anything. Is it fun? Yes. Yes and yes. The headliners. It's was it 8 players? You can have 8 players on the headliners, right?
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah, eight. I believe it's eight players. And honestly, this one here, I understand it's in the horror category. Um, And
I
if
think
you're
it's short.
worried of playing headliners, please don't.
Yeah.
It's actually worth trying, and it's right in the price range, just like all the other ones.
Yep.
It is definitely worth playing, even by yourself or with your good buddies. Because you're having the most fun of your life, and I swear you'll be doing more screaming and laughing than you'll be worried about being scared.
It's
Uh,
true. I mean, it should be more focused in the comedic comedy category because of the stuff that happens on it. Like, it does it have a little horror aspect? Yes. But is it more towards the comedy side? I think it is. It's funny. It's really funny at some points, and so it's $7.99 on Steam. It's right in that same price point. All of these games are fantastic for the prices. You're not going to go wrong with any of these.
yeah,
Um,
I agree. I mean, the game's based on you being as a journalist, and you're out there trying to make your daily routine of figuring out what's the next big
hmm
headliner, and that's what you're doing. You're going out there and you're taking photos of the next big thing, and then you come back with your pals if you make it.
If you make it, yep,
And
yep,
and then pretty much you get to turn around and relive every scenario on the big screen,
it's true. Gives you
and
a
then you
top
get to
five.
laugh about it.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. Just I mean, you could see somebody hopping down the street because their leg is gone.
Yep.
You know, it's a fun game. I like he said, I would recommend it. You're not going to go wrong with the price point alone. It's worth the laughs. It's going to keep you entertained. Is it still worth it? Yes, I would do it. I would get
Oh,
it again.
10 out of 10. It's definitely worth it, guys. Don't look at it and be like, "Oh, the views this or the price this." No, definitely spend the 7.99 and then go enjoy a good laugh with you and your pals.
Right,
Honestly.
right. All right, so we're jumping into our next segment. We're going to talk a little bit about crossover content. Now, this isn't anything specific about one or the other, but the main focus is games to film and what's your thoughts of that in one, but also from what I've seen personally, I've seen a trend where games to film when it started out not so good. But it seems here recently, depending on the studio, they're coming out with some really good games to film and movie or TV show. They're coming out with some really good stuff. I mean, Fallout, The Last of Us. I mean, both of those was spectacular shows based off of the video games.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that one. The Last of Us especially. Oh man, when that first got announced, oh, the wife and I were so giddy about it, and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally when we were able to actually watch the first season, it was from the moment we clicked on the first episode to watch, it was hands down the greatest intro ever.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
from watching and playing these games, wow. Now,
It's
granted, there
amazing.
were some different things that they didn't hit that was in the game that's not in the movie or the show, but that's okay because it's still following a lot to do with the game. And it's amazing. And then on top of
Hmm.
it, we just found out that there's the next season coming out this year for The Last of Us. So if you guys are unaware of that, make sure to stay tuned for that. Um, but yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like, and then like you said, Fallout. Oh man,
Hmm.
Fallout. Whoo!
Fallout was
That
great. I mean,
that is good. That's some seriously good stuff. And how they made that suit. Oh man, they had to spend a lot of time trying to customize that
hmm,
to being
yeah.
pretty much exactly the same, and as well as the Pit Boy, trying to imitate that and its functionality and everything like that. It's amazing.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it all comes down to I don't want to say necessarily the studio, but I think that may play a part into it. And the reason I say that is you've had other games to shows that haven't hit. Like for instance, the most recent for me, the Halo show. And Halo again, it was one of my favorite games of all time, but the show didn't really hit with me. And I think because it didn't to me relate to the game. It was too drastically different in my opinion story wise. Um was it in the same universe? Sure. Had they changed quite a bit? Yes. It to me I didn't really care for the Halo show. Can I separate the two and think this is a good show versus, this that? It was an all right show, but having to relate it to what I grew up with, it kind of was a disappointment.
I mean, I'll honestly say didn't even watch it.
Yeah. It I don't know, it was so drastic. Like it was a step away from the story and they had good source material. I mean, you've had Halo now for 20 years, 20 plus years. But it seemed like it kind of stepped away from that source material. And I know that they want to do their own thing. I get that. They want to adapt it and make it their own thing, but it didn't really go the route that your fans of that game wanted. You know what I mean? Like, because that's who's going to watch is your fans, and I don't think that it went the route that it should have on it, and that's why it only lasted 2 seasons.
No, I definitely agreed. But I mean, a coworker of mine, he watched the whole thing and he's like, "Oh, I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good. It had this and had that. And I was like, "That's great and all, but did it actually pertain to the actual games and everything?" And he's like, "Not really."
Yeah, you would have
But I
to
mean,
separate the
it was
two.
very action packed. Yes, like
Yeah,
kind of going to like Halo Wars. Um, I can understand that perspective, but when it's pertaining to like the original Halos and everything like that, probably not so much.
yeah. I mean, it. I think it had potential. It's one of those where I think it had potential, and I think that maybe they was trying to correct some things throughout season 2 from the first season, but I don't think it was enough to save it, for a third season. And so if they do change something and bring it back, I hope that it's better. Um, I will say I know there was a lot of hard work put into it because obviously it had its graphics, it had its moments, it had its acting, but you got to have a good story or that none of that's going to save it.
Yeah, I agree.
So but that's my thoughts on those with the crossover content. I look forward though to more and more because it seems to me more and more studios that are handling the good ones, them so to speak, are putting out more, and I really enjoy what's coming out as of late. I mean, personally, now this I don't know how people feel about this one. Personally, I like the One Piece on Netflix. I thought it was really good to be adapted from the cartoon.
The only thing I'm gonna add to from game to video, all right, is and I just recently seen trailers about this, and I don't think it'll happen, but if it does, I have mixed thoughts on this. Is them doing the live action uh Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Okay.
And honestly, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I just watching the trailer alone, I can tell you it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying Tom Holland isn't going to be a great actor for Link. I'm not saying that at all, but Link does not talk.
No.
So you done ruined all of that to begin with. Link does not talk. Has he ever talked? Yeah, he grunts and moans. That's it.
Yeah, and I know they've
And
got to adapt it. You know, they have to adapt it to a certain degree, but I'm with you on that one. I mean,
I mean, all of the Zeldas, Link has never spoke. No matter even if it's in a bubble, you've never seen a message bubble pop up from him replying back to anybody.
yeah,
So I don't know how that is gonna work out. Now, graphic quality, yeah, would the movie be worth it to at least watch? Yes, I will say I will watch it still. But do I agree with the fact of Link being able to speak? I don't know how I feel about that one. Being that I've played all of the Zeldas, I just don't feel like Link should be talking. But going back to the fact that it is one of my favorite games, Ocarina of Time, I feel like the live action version of the Great Deku Tree or the Forest Temple or Goron's Castle, Ganondorf, everything like all that stuff is going to be amazing to actually see in a live action version, which is no different than us coming back to saying a live or a remastered of Ocarina of Time being with the Unreal Engine that people have been slowly but surely trying to do. I feel like I will still watch this movie, but take it with a grain of salt that I will. I just don't agree with the whole Link talking.
I could see that. I could see that on it. Big time fan. I can see that on it. Speaking of shows, now this is a show that came from a book, not a video game. Reacher. I love this show from season 1 to season 3. Now the Tom Cruise movies, I will say they're okay. They're not bad. Let's dive into Reacher a little bit, Clinical. Give me your thoughts on what we've seen so far, and we'll go back and forth with the Tom Cruise versus the Alan Richardson.
Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Alan Richardson is a force to be reckoned with. I just want to throw that out there. That man is
He's a
a
unit,
he is
straight
a
unit.
god. I follow him on TikTok and I see him exactly the way that he is normal and everything like that. And I agree. How does this 6'5" man of a giant, have a great smile, great body, great hair, great looks, a great everything, and then on top of it, he can sing?
He can
Hold on.
sing.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. Alan Richardson has been since the first episode. I have been thankful that he has been the one playing Reacher.
yes.
The whole entire show, season one, like you said, all the way to season three, current episode. It's just he's been phenomenal. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how he's acting and everything like that. It's just made the show absolutely amazing, and he draws you to the show. That's the thing, guys. Alan
Mm-hmm.
Richardson
Yeah.
does a phenomenal
Yep.
job of drawing you in and making you sit there and watch episode after episode after episode.
Sucks you right in. You
It
know,
really
every
does.
episode, like I'm waiting until that next one comes out. And in between those episodes, I'm like, man, I gotta know what happens. I have to know. Like, It's one of those where I would like to binge it, but I'm too impatient because I gotta know, and so I watch it week to week. And but like he said, Alan Richardson does a fantastic job. He pulls you in, and he's believable as the character from the book series. You know, with that, with Tom Cruise's movies, now those wasn't bad movies. I'm not down in those movies. I think they was still pretty good movies. The stories was all right, but I just don't think Tom Cruise fit the role of Reacher the way that it was described for one in the books and the way Alan Richardson does it in the show. I think that with him as the lead in the show, it definitely it makes that character more stand out. And I do. I look forward to each and every week, each and every episode. It's sad that we only got one more in this current season, but
Oh,
I
but
look
it's gonna
forward
be
to
a
season
banger.
4. Oh, it's going to be so good.
I
So
mean,
good.
put it into another perspective because it just dawned on me. Another a good example would be The Witcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew
Perfect
Cavill
example.
is in a phenomenal actor in The Witcher. Absolutely, hands down, has made The Witcher the show that it is. I mean, I can't be more impressed with the way that he acts and everything. And of those that don't know who he is, think of Superman,
Yep.
the movies and Superman and everything like
Yep.
that. That's your guy. And he is. I mean, he had to do a whole lot of physical work to get his body into shape to play The Witcher.
It's
But
true.
man, let me tell you, if you have not seen The Witcher, you have to see The Witcher. It is hands down fantastic. Does it relate to the game? It relates to Witcher 3 more than it does to any of the other Witchers.
Yeah.
I will
Yep.
openly admit to that one. It relates a lot to The Witcher 3, but it does have some things that kind of go back to the other Witchers. Am I familiar with those? No, but Witcher 3 I'm decently familiar with. But that show entirely has been hands down one of my greatest shows to watch, and me and the wife will sit here and binge watch it because it's just him, no different than how we agree with Alan Richardson. It's just him.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
why we keep watching
Draws
it.
you in. Yeah, it draws you in. I'm with you on that one. Fantastic show, fantastic acting. Now I am sad to see him go. You know, with Liam coming on board, um,
Mm.
I'm not going to turn it down because it ain't Liam's fault. You know, I will
No,
check it
it's the
out.
contract. We know
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
contract, and I get it. Andrew's got it, he's got his rights, but at the same time, if they can't meet with the recommendations that Andrew's setting out, then I understand why he would walk away.
yeah,
But man, the show's not gonna be the same. First one, I don't think Liam is as tall as Andrew is. So they're gonna have to cut off The Witcher and then bring in somebody else, is what I'm thinking they're gonna have to play it as. Okay, so and then on top of it, Liam's nowhere near as big as Andrew is.
yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, it's a toss up. I'm second guessing it right now, but I haven't seen it. So I'll
yeah,
have to wait and give my perspective when I've seen it. Until then, I'm just gonna stay optimistic and say it's gonna be great.
yeah. I'm with you on that 100%. I think I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm not discounting it immediately, so to speak, but I don't have exact high hopes the way I have in the past on it. So,
Mhm.
but we'll see when it comes out. You never know. It could turn it around. We'll see.
I agree.
But one last thing. Now, this is a personal theory of mine. Okay. You're familiar with the John Wick universe, right?
Oh boy. Yeah.
I love it. Love John Wick. You're familiar with Assassin's Creed, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. My theory is that John Wick is a modern retelling of the Assassin's Creed stories. If you think about it, he works for this organization, right? That has him as a hitman. He does this, he wants out, yada, yada, yada. But to get back in, he has to lose his ring finger. You know, the one thing with the assassins to get into the Brotherhood, their ring finger at first was accidentally cut off by Ek, but they had to lose that to show the commitment to the brotherhood. You see where I'm going with this?
I do. Yes.
And so it's just, I know it's a wild take on it, but I personally think you could relate the two with John Wick and Assassin's Creed kind of being intertwined, so to speak, with each other.
But let me put a spin on that though. In Assassin's Creed, did you lose your dog?
Oh, why you gotta do that?
Ah, see, that's what I'm saying though. The
Ugh.
man, the myth, the legend himself, Keanu Reeves did phenomenal job on the first one for sure. With the fact of the you pulled everybody in with that loving dog, and yes, 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 you did. And
Oh,
my oh golly, jeez. Did it have to go that way? No, it didn't.
no.
Okay, it didn't.
Yeah.
But
That made
did
me
the leading
sad.
things happen after that? Oh,
Oh,
100%, hands down.
yes.
Everybody deserved what they got,
Oh, and
hands
some.
down.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and some.
and so with that being said, that's the only thing that I'm just going to say that's different than Assassin's Creed. But I agree. Yes, you having to give something in order to prove dedication and loyalty to said covenant. And that's exactly what John Wick did.
Mhm.
He had to give up something of his life, which basically came down to it his marriage.
Yep.
He lost that, and with being told that he gave that up, showed that he was loyal to the company or to the cult or
Yeah, however you wanna
organization.
word it. Yeah.
And with that being said, I mean, he was known as the number one assassin.
Yeah. The Baba
I mean,
Yaga.
everybody feared him
Mhm.
because he was unkillable.
And if you've
Uh,
seen the movies, I believe it. Now, do
I
you
mean,
think
yeah.
he is gone, or do you think he is still around?
Ending on the third one, I would say that he is not gone.
It wants I want to
It
believe
wants you
he's
to think
not.
it is.
Yeah. I want to believe he's not gone, and I want to see another John Wick. Now, I know we are getting Ballerina, but that's a prequel, that he's in. And
Yeah.
so I want to see another John Wick, but and if he is gone, I accept that because he went out, the way he wanted to. I get it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He did. He put on a
Eh,
show, that's for sure.
Yeah,
If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it, guys. It's hands down one of the greatest, and it'll keep you glued to your seat. That is
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Very
absolutely.
action packed, very knowledgeable, and the first one gives you enough info, but the second and third one fills in all the blanks.
Oh yeah,
All the
and
blanks. The
and
second and
some.
third one will fill it.
Hmm.
And you are definitely going to be rooting for John Wick the entire time. If you're not, then you're a savage.
Right,
Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, honestly, you got to put yourself in that man's perspective. Like, how could you, live with yourself knowing that this is what you're fighting for?
Yeah, yep.
The whole entire, all
The
three
whole
movies,
time. Yeah,
you're only fighting for your wife and your dog.
yep. And he made it well known too. It
Oh,
wasn't
I'm sorry,
anything that.
and his car.
Oh yeah, the car. Well,
I
yeah, the
mean,
car.
the car, but ultimately it was the dog.
Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. It was
I mean,
all about the dog. Now I know his wife played a big part, because the dog was there for him to grieve. But you took that away. I mean, he's gonna make you pay. So
the worst part about it is he got the dog. What was it like a
a
couple
week or so,
days?
wasn't it?
Yeah, like a couple
Yeah.
days to a week after the funeral of his wife, and it was like perfectly timed because he was in that state of mind and depression of like I
Mm-hmm.
just want to end myself because
Yeah.
I lost my loved one, the person I cared the most about, and then all of a sudden this dog just shows up and has the name tag and the note and everything detailing like this is for you. I planned this out just for you and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, hey, this happens to the dog. And now guess what? You just brought a demon out and
Yep. The
you
boogeyman's
summoned the
come out.
wrong one.
Yep.
Exactly. And everybody got what they deserved and then some. Honestly, they really did. You don't mess with a man's dog.
That's a true statement. That is a true statement. Well, that's all I've got. Clinical. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's absolutely it, buddy.
All right, Clinical. Where can anybody that's listening follow you at? Where can they
Hey, if you
go
guys want
to?
to know, always go to check out Twitch at clinical.com, as well as you can go over to YouTube. You can catch me at clinical depression there, and as well as TikTok, clinical depression.
Awesome, awesome. Clinical, I really want to appreciate you and thank you so much for joining me on this first episode of Side Quest Sessions. It means a lot to me, and I hope that it comes out great for everybody that's listening. And we'll definitely do more. I've enjoyed having you on here, so I will definitely be asking you to come back if you're willing to, obviously, so we can continue to have further discussions on some things. Maybe we can get into a few debates and so on when it comes to gaming.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, buddy. I do appreciate it, Polly, and thank you for having me. And as well as everybody, have a great freaking day.
Absolutely. Have a great day. The sun's up. Well, we'll be somewhere. Have a good day. But that's all that we've got. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a great weekend, great week, whatever it may be. Make it great.